It's about to go down. This is the beginning of the end of the 2018 comic book series kickoff of Kick-Ass. If you're lost in the sauce, I advise you to please go check out my previous videos because it gets crazy and it starts now. Patience is going to have to face her biggest challenge yet. With the introduction of one man, her whole world falls apart. His name was Mr. Solo, and as it sits right now, he was having the time of his life until he gets a call. He has a job to do, tracking down the mysterious kick-ass lady. He didn't mind, of course. The money was good, but he had to finish what he had to finish, you feel me? And Patience was going through it as well, because we see a brief flashback into her world, her past. She was at war. None of this gang activity, I mean real war. She was supposed to provide cover for her team. Sadly, she didn't know she was in someone's sight, and these guys don't miss. But before she was shot, she woke up, and she woke up in the hospital by her sister, watching over her brother-in-law, who was now bedridden with enough fire burns that he would not be able to live a normal life, ever. This was a hard day, and he was getting no support from his gang because his gang support the strong, and he got burnt because he was weak. They abandoned him, and it was all her fault. But at least one good thing came out of this. This piece of shit Valencio was now in prison. I mean, he was pissed off. I will escape. You think this is the end of me? Nah, I will break out of here, and I will get revenge on that kick-ass woman and all of you that are binding me. I don't forgive, and I have a good memory. It was a good catch, but still, Patience knew this couldn't just end like this. She had a lot to pay for now. She didn't know if she could be kick-ass anymore, but she had to be. She had to cover his bills. She had to cover the business she burnt down, her sister's kids and family, her kids and family. By her calculation, she needs money in the millions. Unknown to her though, her world was about to go crashing down because Mr. Solo has stepped to the scene. Mr. Solo was a relative genius, and Hoop knew he was fucking expensive, yes, but he brings results. As soon as the money was transferred, half to him, the other half to a shell corporation, he instantly started to work. First of all, apologizing for the failed business, or rather the failed operation in catching her the first time. But Hoop didn't think about it. He doesn't think about failures. So Solo said, okay. Right there and then, he started to dissect her life. She's a woman, so half of the population has already been deducted from this. She is also former police or military, given the effect of her attacks. And given the fact that she only hurts bad guys, she must have a little respect for police and army members. She clearly attacks places far away from her home, but close enough to drive. She called 911 on the burner phone, but that number was still getting calls back. 17 missed calls to be exact, from an African-American woman calling her daughter who went to Afghanistan recently. Hoop was confused. Who is this person? And then he heard the name, Patience Lee, and he smiled because he knew exactly who this person was. Patience was putting her daughter to sleep. Everything was a normal night in her books. The planning had been going on. She had already discovered that Hoop had 5 million cash for backup in his house at all times. The only problem was, how was she going to get it? She remembered her time in the army more and more often these days. Taking a sniper rifle bullet to the chest wasn't easy, but she was still able to stand up and return fire. She was good, but she was so lost in thought, she wasn't thinking about what was happening right in front of her, because instantly she was surrounded and all of them had guns on her. She couldn't move. She looked outside the window and she saw cars. What the hell? How long was I out? Her first thought was the baby. How the hell am I going to save the baby? But when he came out with her suit, she knew she had to move. She grabbed a jug and went into battle mode. She disarmed one, knocking him out, picking up his gun, and making sure they knew she wasn't playing. Put down your gun. They didn't listen. Matter of fact, one guy came up behind her, but she wasn't even shook. She shattered his bone and used him as a body shield. Put your guns down, or I kill every one of you. Him first. She wasn't even playing. You could see it in her eyes. But then she realized Over the baby monitor, someone was talking to her. It was Mr. Solo. Put your gun down, Patience, or your child dies. Realizing this was endgame, she stopped. This wasn't a favorable situation. So, she gave up. And they took her. Matter of fact, she had to watch her baby beg for her mommy. But Solo said, nah, the boss wants to have a talk with you. So, put on your suit and come with us now, or we kill this child right in front of you and kill the rest of your kids next. She had no choice. So, she put on her suit and she followed right behind them. I mean, they were not even playing. Even the neighbors were watching this happen. They couldn't say nothing because they thought it was some kinky shit, but it wasn't. Patience was really in trouble. In the car, her mind started to race, but Mr. Solo said, nah, don't even try it. I'm smart enough to know you are planning out a strategy, but don't plan. Trust me, you are not escaping tonight. Tonight, it ends. She realized he was right. With tears in her eyes, she knew tonight it was really going to end, one way or another.